The simplest methods have the most profound responses from the human body. And I'll get into how we use recovery methods in a minute. And I'm not the only one saying this. These two guys are very smart people. Following up on speed ladders, no force is produced at the hip. If speed ladders worked, piano players who have the greatest fastballs. Everybody know who Boo Schneckschneider is. Very intelligent man. Great guy to talk to. That's his decision. That's his comment. That's not mine. So I'm not the only one who has a hard-on, excuse me, ladies, for the foot ladder. Al Vermeil, don't waste time trying to obtain the unobtainable. When people pull out speed or foot ladders and tell me they're going to work on acceleration training, turn around and walk away. It's a gimmick. It's a tool. It's not even a tool. It's just a gimmick. And we are a gimmick-oriented society. We're always looking for that next, latest, greatest, cutting-edge toy or gimmick to make our athletes better. How about this? How about a barbell? How about a track or field to run on? How about some boxes to jump on? How about some med balls to throw? What else do you need? The simplest methods have the most profound responses from the human body. And I'll get into how we use recovery methods in a minute. But you have to be really cautious nowadays because there's too many internet gurus. I don't want to be the guru. I don't want to be the guy on the mountain. I don't even want to be an expert. I just want to be the guy that continues to learn to help my athletes. I only speak twice a year. This is one of them. The other one is Central Virginia. I will not speak any other times. First of all, because it's very hard to get me to leave Arizona, especially when it's 75 yesterday and it's 30 today. I can't deal with that stuff anymore. Difference between gurus and experts. If you ever read Thomas Hargrove's Better Movement stuff, how many people have ever visited his website? This guy's great because he's a former lawyer. So he has that analytical mind. Gurus have no awareness of the limits of their knowledge and will therefore never mention it. They're all-knowing. They want everybody to come to them and ask questions. I don't want anybody to come to me and ask a question. Please, ask a Dango, ask Gooey, ask anybody. I'm not a big question guy. I'm not a big people guy, in fact. I've already told Michael Bidwell, Aroni, I hate people, so don't make me do interviews, which they don't do. The expert will often refer to gaps in their understanding, the complexity of the subject matter, the existence of competing theories or conflicting evidence. That's a category I want to fall into. I want to be the guy who's known as always continuing to learn and research, but bridging the gap between what science tells me and what I see in the real world. Here's one of the best ways I assess my athletes on a daily basis. You know what it is? When you get them together and you start preliminary workout or warming up, foam rolling, lacrosse balls, easy stuff to get circulation going. If they're a bunch of chatty catties, they're a bunch of old women that can't shut up, like they're all auditioning for their own talk show, they're ready to go. If they're laying there dead silent, you better be willing to change. Or you better change your program because they're gassed. They're telling you that. There's the opinion of the athlete, the opinion of the coach, the opinions of the athlete's body. Athlete's body doesn't lie. Carson Palmer, no matter what question I ask him, will tell me the same thing. I feel super fantastic. Really? Because your eyes are dead, your chinks are sunken in, and just your overall mannerism when I watch you walk tells me you're gassed. So in the middle of the season, Carson stopped practicing on Wednesday. He needed to see some things technically and tactically because it's installation day, it's full speed, but he stopped practicing, he stopped throwing the ball because it became too much of a stressor. His body wasn't recovering. As we get into more of the information I share about the brain, you'll start to understand this. Be cautious of fads and gimmicks and the latest gurus. The internet is full of them. Here's another pet peeve of mine, sand training. Do we play football in the sand? Who are the only people that benefit from training in the sand? Beach volleyball players. How fucking hard was that to answer? Every time I open up AFCA magazine, there's some young strength coach who wants to be the guru, who wants to be the guy Who wants to be the guy who's, oh, he's cutting edge. You should see this stuff. Do you know training in a sand destroys the elastic reactive response and dissipates forces? Do you ever see somebody train in sand? They take quick, choppy steps. They go nowhere fast, like a foot ladder. You're not producing any force. The ground gives away. How is that making you faster? How's that transferred to ground? When we know that to run faster, we must apply more force where? Into the ground. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction, is there not? It's not that hard. So quit telling people to train in the fucking sand. And people, what's killing me is people still ask me, should I train as a sand, a football player? I'm tired of answering stupid questions. The answer is no. It's not going to benefit you. It doesn't transfer positively to the sporting activity. We don't play in sand. Same thing if you have your guys stand on a half foam roller and try to do a rear foot elevated split squat. When we start playing football on a vibrating electric football field, then I'll do that shit. But the ground doesn't move. It's grass or it's turf. You apply force. How hard is that? The ground doesn't shake. We're not playing in a fucking earthquake. Why you do that shit? Same thing as standing on a Bosu ball. Keep doing that. Be like Juan Carlos Santana in Florida. Keep doing that and fall off and rupture ACL, and then see if you talk about training on a stability ball again. People we really got to wake up in this society, and because like Uwe and I talked about at dinner last night, our profession hit a fork in the road, and some of us went to the left, and we're seeing those guys that upset status quo. If you don't upset status quo, how does things change? And most of everybody went to the right, so a bunch of little lemmings following each other off the mountain or cliff of no return of stupidity. That's the NSCA. That's the CSCCA. It's their fault we're doing 300-yard shuttles because they're giving us the wrong fucking information. Stop talking about Western periodization. Stop talking about periodization, period. That's just a concept. It's a plan. How many people have ever heard, and I'll get to it on a slide here, if you fail to plan, you're planning to fail. How many people have ever heard that? Here's what they don't tell you in fine print under that. Nothing goes according to plan. You think I'm kidding? Ask fucking God. When he thought the fucking universe, I'm sure he hit a day where he just said, fuck. That's not how I wanted this shit to go. Fuck, I got to start rethinking this. I guarantee he said that. You think when they fucking invaded Normandy and D-Day, they said, oh, that's the way it's supposed to go. We're fucking geniuses. You know them generals sat in the fucking room and thought, shit, did this get fucked up? So stop talking about periodization. It doesn't exist. It's just a plan. Your plan better be subject to change by what your athletes display to you on a daily basis, because speed, strength, and outputs fluctuate on a daily basis. How many days, we've all lifted weights, how many days you've gone into the gym and 135 feels like 800 pounds? You're thinking, holy fuck, why am I here? And then there's those other days you go into the gym and just warm up, you feel like, I feel great, I'm ready to go. And everybody's different, and that'll vary for everybody. So on the days where you don't feel that great, and trust me, I'm a stress trainer, we all react and respond differently to stress. Everybody encounters stress, do you not? We're stress managers. We're not strength coaches anymore. We're not coaching physical preparation. We are stress managers. How do you manage the stressors you impose on your athletes? Everybody responds differently to stress. That's why there's alcoholics. That's why there's fucking fat people. That's why there's mental illness. I train every day. I know I'm not supposed to train every day. You don't have to tell me that. I know that. Instinctively, I know that. But understand, that's how I deal with stress. So the stress of the season, no matter how fatigued I am, I go to gym. But I change my method when I'm feeling exhausted. So I'll just go and do some cardio, or I'll do an easy pump, what I call pump sets. Just get some blood flowing. But at least I go, because that's how I deal with stress. Some people meditate. Our shrink that we have with the Cleveland Browns told me, he goes, you got to find another outlet. I'm like, what? Want to talk to my neighbors about growing tomatoes? My neighbors come over and talk to my wife. I stand there like a total idiot. My wife goes, you going to say anything? I'm like, about what? She goes, just anything. I said, I don't know anything. Here's how fucked up as a country we are. We had 2 people for president, a fucking dyke and a wig. Next 4 years, I'm running for president. I'm asking everybody in this room to vote for me. I'm hiring Gadango as my fucking presidential candidate. He's going to run my campaign. And I'm going to just get every meathead, because I could do the same job they're doing. The only thing that would change is this entitlement stuff is gone. And the second thing is going to change, when you turn 18, you're doing physical manual labor for at least 4 years. Nowadays, kids don't even fucking cut grass. Here's the best. Hand a kid a wiffle ball and a wiffle ball bat and see what they do with it. They'll be like, what's this? What do I do with this? Hand them a Wii stick, they're good to go. And then we wonder why we have obesity, ADHD. We wonder why society is like it is and why because we've developed a toxic society. It's our fault. We just don't want to point fingers. Last but not least, I told you I ran a lot. I warned you, didn't I? The shorter the duration or time to execute the athletic skill or physical training component, the less training will have an effect, the more genetics will play a role in influence. I got that from Al Vermeil. Now, there are periods or windows or opportunities for females and males. Everybody knows who Ista Van Balje is, right? Godfather of periodization. Derek Everly helped write Canada's long-term athletic development program. They developed windows of opportunity. And I'll tell you a guy who does a fucking great job in the state of Illinois. Where you at, Chris, again? Because I'm sorry I lost you. Which is shit state too. Sorry, Chris. But they have to deal with this weather. So he can't be outside sprinting all the time, but he developed some of the best high school sprinters in the world. So if you want to know anything about speed, where you at, Chris? Ask Chris. Because a lot of my hamstring work has come from reading articles that he's written on Just Fly. What is it? Just Fly Sports or Just Fly? Simply Faster, that's it. Of reading their website. So a lot of my stuff I do acceleration-wise in the weight room has come from him. Here's blasphemy now. Ready? Not all my athletes squat. How about that? Especially my skill guys. Because we're trying to develop that lateral subsystem. Quadratus lumborum, the glutes, gluteus medius, adductors, so the knee doesn't valgus stress in when we sprint so we can maintain or don't bleed force or leak force through bad motor patterns. Now, I've had Ryan Flaherty in, and I bring Ryan Flaherty from Nike in every year, and he's taught me a lot about acceleration and speed. There we go.